There's some frustrations between them and the bankers and things like that. Just how long it takes, to do some of the stuff.
You had a huge liquidity event, right? So how did you deal with the tax?
1031.
All right. And what is your biggest frustration with a 1031?
That I can't touch it. I want to be able to touch it. But no, there's not really the frustrations. I guess because I've done so many 1031s. Every time I sold something, I did a 1031. That's how I went from a single family house to 1,500 units and a couple hotels. I just kept 1031ing, and then finally got into syndications and things like that. But the frustration is finding the right, what do you call it? The middle person, one
Broker?
that it's the 1031
Oh,
exchange,
the exchange
the
accommodator?
exchange accommodator. Um, just one that knows the commercial space and how to do some things. There's some frustrations between them and the bankers and things like that. Just how long it takes, to do some of the stuff. So that was really the only frustration is, but I'm so used to it now that it's not a big deal.
So your biggest frustration with a 1031 is just having those exchange accommodators not really knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, especially on like the commercial side. They do so many houses and apartment complex and things like that. But when you get into the difference between hotel and multifamily is, hotels an actual business, right?
Right.
And it takes sometimes 6, 7, 8 months to close these things. I mean, it takes a long time to close these things. And now you're sitting there with this person, what's going on? Why aren't we doing this? And I'm like going, it's how long it takes, Um, so that's frustrating, but I've learned a lot with hotel space and you're in the capital gains and different tax solutions. It's like, man, once you get into things with like, cost segregations and all that fun stuff, it's like there are some really good tax solutions out there once you get into commercial properties and businesses.
Absolutely. Have you ever used a deferred sales trust?
I have not. No, I haven't needed to. Um, I've always found stuff. Um, so no, I have not done that. Haven't needed to, but I get people, if you don't find anything, put it in this deferred sales trust. And yeah, I think it's a good thing to do. I just haven't had the need yet.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, especially because one of the big things that we constantly see is people are like, I can't find an upleg in the
Hmm.
45 days to identify, 180 days to close. So are you doing like a reverse 1031 where you're finding the upleg first and then you're going into it?
Yep,
Or
I have done that.
gotcha.
And especially when you get into like hotels and things like, because it not only do you have the identify process, but then you have now you have to close. And sometimes it's like, oh my God, I'm really rushing here, to try to get some of this stuff done.
Right.
And it's just it's a very long process because now you have not only the buyer and the seller, and now the 1031 exchange person and all the bankers, and now you have maybe a hotel franchise, Marriott, Hilton, Radisson, Wyndham. You have that leg, and it's like, okay, people, I got to close on this thing. I got to get going. I got to put this money,
Yeah.
to use. I've identified you. I want to buy you, and it's like, come on, I now need to close.
Yep. Definitely. Awesome.